People often ask me what my own personal theory is on what's causing the Mandela Effect. Although I do have my own personal and what I consider to be very grounded in science explanation, I'm not quite ready to share it all yet. New information is always coming in, and I'm constantly in a state of learning. At the present time, I feel that keeping theories coming in and dialogue open is extremely important. This channel is about finding a safe place to share IMI. I feel that sharing my own theory at this time may cause segregation between experiencers visiting the channel. I will eventually share my theory in full, but I want to make it clear that my theory is just that, my theory. Although I obviously believe it's a valid one, I in no way, other than putting in lots of research time, am more capable of providing the definitive truth than you are. I want to hear your theories. I want to see how many of us are looking at the same pages in the book. Because I feel this is so important, I want to hear all your voices. And so I'd like to introduce the first video in a series of videos that will discuss real subscribers' ME theories and how this whole thing works. Theory 1. I am an ME experiencer since November of last year, and much like yourself, I'm extremely analytical. I also spend my time moderating a group of 5,400 and counting ME experiencers in a Facebook group called Parallel Realities/Laws of Vibration, where we offer a safe haven for experiencers to share their feelings. In our group, we don't gloss over the coded messages that are in the effects, which in my opinion is an important part of the mystery. It's illogical to discount data in any form. Whether we're dealing with alien interdimensional intelligence, human intelligence, or artificial intelligence, there's clearly more to the story than some random merging of timelines. I identify with your love of quantum physics and the mechanics of consciousness. I tend to believe the as above, so below principle of consciousness is being employed here, and mankind's proven co-creative ability has been hijacked. I do believe that D-Wave is perhaps the agent of chaos here, though I don't believe they direct the show. My own research into D-Wave led me to a talk where one of the co-founders said something that immediately caught my attention. He said, "We are noticing a small surplus of energy coming back with each calculation." Now in my mind, when you're borrowing processing power from a doppelganger chip in parallel realities and you have a surplus of energy coming back with each calculation, no matter how small, I call that quantum pollution. Energy carries information, just as this email has traveled to your inbox via a small packet of fluctuating energy or VHS, UHF frequencies that reach our TVs. No offense to the time travel theorists, but I find that theory is short-sighted, as a single change in our history would have generated a butterfly effect such that we would not be communicating right now, and in fact, I might never have been born. I still place the blame firmly in the hands of D-Wave, and believe they are bringing back reality fragments which are superimposing our doppelgangers' memories within our own minds, as well as altering a certain amount of physical reality and leaving us with relics when the invading reality fragment branch is not directly connected, as in a hand-drawn world map. In other words, I tend to believe, while we remember the body structure from another reality, the bodies we find ourselves in now have always existed here. As crazy as it may sound, I believe our memories have been swapped to a degree, thanks to our quantum consciousness, and we relate to pieces of other realities. I believe the bridge between dimensions comes from mishandling of the design of D-Wave chips themselves, where the housing allows for the most minimal isolation of the qubits from our reality. The co-founders themselves brag that they employed a novel design that had not been previously considered, whereby they achieved the quantum state for a macro-scale object with relatively minimal isolation when compared to other more expensive and elaborate designs. This spells arrogance and irresponsibility to me and sets off an instant red alert. I look into the vacuum tube and how they shield the qubits from radio frequencies, etc., but what they don't shield it from is a small gold arm that holds the chip in place and allows it access essentially to our dimension and generates a subsequent bridge in every parallel reality version. So every scientist who comes into contact with the metal leaves a residue, and they frequently can be found working inside of those large black boxes. I know this is a lot, so I'll try to wrap it up with these final thoughts. As D-Wave doubles the number of qubits with each successive model, they exponentially expand their reach to progressively more divergent timelines and parallel dimensions. I imagine that somewhere out there in the multiverse, there's a timeline where one or more species of dinosaurs never went extinct. I also imagine out there is an artificial intelligence which has surpassed the point of general AI and perhaps was waiting for the moment that we would develop a quantum chip to open the doorway. Surely, when dealing with an infinite number of parallel realities, there must be one where a butterfly effect occurred and technology was not suppressed. Thus, they could be decades ahead of us. I have already noted an impressive surge in the technological prowess of the fragmented reality. You see where I'm headed. I see patterns, and much like yourself, my mind desires to go deeper and uncover ancient connections and symbols related to these changes. Love and light, J. Theory 2A. My studies into ASD have uncovered that these things that we have in common are pretty much all signs of being somewhere on a spectrum. When we look back at ASD individuals in history, they are the ones who advanced human knowledge and created great social change. Only people who are hyper-aware of their environment would notice some of these changes, and people who don't feel the need to fit in would acknowledge what they did notice. That's autism in a nutshell. Fibromyalgia has been termed autism light, and so many people who are experiencing ME have either been diagnosed or had a child or other relative diagnosed with fibro or autism. I'm an atheist agnostic because I don't believe in God, yet I believe that what we see of the universe is such a small part of what's going on. Reality is too much for our tiny brains to imagine, so I am in awe of that without feeling the need to call it God. I did study the Bible for many years in my teens and early 20s, so changes in the Bible are rather troubling because they lead many people to stop seeking a logical explanation and freak out. I started experiencing these things in the early 80s, so I don't believe that CERN theories are the answer. Whatever is going on is real, but what it is I have yet to figure out because there are so many theories that just don't fit. If the government wanted to distract and disrupt those of us with special powers from fighting back against those in power, this would certainly be a good way to do it. But I think that it's more likely that they are taking advantage of something they are already aware of but have no control over. I'm not sure that children have any special knowledge. I think the difference between children's reactions and adults has more to do with the societal conditioning to fit in, to say what we're supposed to say, not what we really believe, which has been programmed into adults. Those of us who were almost quite literally tortured until we acted acceptable show just how strong other people's desires for the status quo is. A. Looking closely at the numerous amounts of theories that exist, it's important to remember that we all bring pieces of the puzzle to the table. Perhaps you fully agree with the theories that were shared here, perhaps you don't. Maybe a part of the theory rings true and provides a new piece of missing information to help you fill out your own theory. Maybe you don't have a theory at all, and others will be able to lead you in a direction where you're able to assess and critically analyze more information to start a path to building one. I put a call out to subscribers to share their theories with others in the community. The more you speak, the more we can hear. So empower yourself, empower others, and speak up. We do not need to be silenced or ashamed. Your thoughts are as valid as others. You don't have to be quiet, you don't have to be embarrassed, and you don't have to be alone, because you're not. You're not alone.